What is up, guys? We are back in another video, and today I wanted to talk about something that was on my mind a lot recently, and it's whether gamers really actually want innovation in their games or not. And the reason why I've been thinking about this so much lately is because the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I know it's still early, but their early sales numbers where they said they had 1 million players in the first 24 hours. Now, I know some people are saying things like, oh, there's still the Ubisoft Plus where people get it for free, so it might not have been 1 million copies sold. And the truth is, we don't really know what those numbers are. We don't know how many people actually bought it on Steam versus buying it on Ubisoft's own launcher versus people that have it on Ubisoft Plus. We don't know this information. But from those numbers, it looks like that it may have a profitable or good sales target. And even if it doesn't, it's close enough to where it got me thinking about whether gamers really actually want innovation in their games, or if this is just a vocal minority of the community that is online and vocal about these things. Gamers keep saying that they want something new, but when you look at games like Call of Duty or FIFA, they sell every year, millions and millions. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 sold $1 billion in its first 10 days. FIFA continues to sell millions every single year, despite these games having almost no innovation over the previous, just very minor changes. And the same thing goes for Ubisoft. Every single year with their Assassin's Creed game, it is the same formula. Everything is the same, it's just a new setting. The game is almost basically the same. And people keep saying that they want innovation, but people are buying these games. The gamers that are saying they want innovation, they're buying these games every single year. It's why they keep doing it. These companies wouldn't be releasing the same IPs, basically the same game. It's not just about the IP. It's the game that is the same. Like, you could innovate. And the thing is with innovation is that it fails more oftentimes than it wins. People will look at a game that innovated and they'll say, see, this is what innovation does for you. This is what we want. They'll look at a successful game that innovated. What they don't see is the thousands of innovative games that have failed. It's the same thing with art. People will look at a new piece of art and say, wow, this is a truly unique piece of art. What they don't see is the other thousands or millions of unique pieces of art that were garbage. Although unique, they were garbage. And so being a unique game comes with its own risk, and it's a huge risk because it could just flop completely. People say they want innovation, but every time these companies release games, they prove with their wallets that they don't. They actually just want familiarity. Now, you could look at some examples of good innovation, and you could see why they worked. For example, Elden Ring. Yes, was it innovation? Yes, it was. However, it was wrapped in familiarity. It is the same basic Souls formula that they've done for all their games. And so their core audience knew what to expect. They knew that this was a Souls-like game. It is the spiritual successor to Dark Souls 3. It was just innovative enough to where it really polished their formula. And I think that's kind of what these other games could do, but they don't do. Like with Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, for example, they could keep the core and they could do what Elden Ring did to Dark Souls, but they're just not doing it. I don't understand why people have this, or these companies have this mentality of innovation is risk. Just do the same thing over. When you could just do what something like From Software did. You're not really reinventing the wheel here. You're just taking what you already do and you're doing it better. And that's what these companies aren't doing. They just prefer to stick with the exact same systems, the exact same formulas, maybe some minor little developer tweaks that doesn't change the overall landscape of the game. I can tell you for sure that when these companies are making this much money with their game every year, they probably have very strict conditions on how far you can change the game because it is so fucking profitable. Games like Call of Duty and FIFA. They want to be able to keep releasing it, and so their form of innovation is just finding new ways to monetize it. And that is how they innovate. And people buy it. People keep buying it. And so people are voting with their wallets. They don't care about actual innovation. They just want to keep playing the new shiny product, the new better graphics, the new motion capture animations. People they buy the shiny product. And that's what they do every year. Familiarity is selling over and over again, and innovation usually fails. And I think one of the core things of this is that People, they want innovation in theory, but in most cases, in practice, they don't. They don't want to have to relearn complex game logic or game systems every time they pick up a game. You could look at something like Fortnite or Among Us. These games were very innovative, but they were not hard to pick up. They were so simple to learn. You just play, like for Fortnite, one of the easiest games to learn. So although it was a striking example of innovation, and they quickly adapted with when they saw PUBG, for example, like this is the opportunity for us to turn Fortnite into a battle royale. They innovated very quickly and they made something very unique and it blew up but that's also because it was so easy to learn. And I think that is one of the biggest barriers with innovation itself, is that a lot of forms of innovation make something unapproachable for the average gamer. You might think behind your screen, the typing on Reddit or typing a comment, the fact that you're watching this video means you're probably way more invested than the average gamer is in the gaming landscape. The average gamer is just gonna see the new Call of Duty advertisement on TV, or they're gonna see some big game advertisement, or they'll maybe check out E3, or they'll maybe see the trailer on YouTube, or maybe watch one video that's an IGN review, and that's kind of it. They just want to see what the new flashy product is, and then they'll buy it. They don't want to go into a game and have to really, really think and relearn everything they know about video games. That is the biggest barrier with innovation. It's when innovation makes a game more complicated than it needs to be. And there are even more examples. You could look at a game like Minecraft. It's 1 in a million. For every million games that try to do something like Minecraft and all fail, one comes up, Minecraft. And it's also super, super simple. Simple to play, difficult to, I guess, master, but even a kid could reach the end. And no pun intended. They could reach the end of the game, and they could kill the Ender Dragon, and they could do all these things. The kids can do it. And despite the fact that kids can beat this game, to the young kids, despite that fact, it was so successful. It was innovative and it was easy. And there are other games that run on different principles, but they innovate in the same kind of way. Another great example is Breath of the Wild. It carried the Zelda brand familiarity. It wasn't just a new IP, it was a beloved IP that everyone was thinking about, oh, this is going to be the huge game. And it was a step up for the makers of this game. They wanted to redefine what open world meant. And that is a striking example of when innovation works. And I think if companies are looking to innovate, they need to look at games like this. The problem is, for every game like this that tries something, there are more that fail. And one of the biggest reasons why it succeeded is it was one of the lucky first few to kind of do this open world formula. And it was also wrapped in an IP that everyone knows and loves. So at the end of the day, innovation can succeed, but gamers are voting with their wallets and showing that they don't really care. Unless a game comes out that is truly innovative enough and it's easy and simple enough to strike into the mainstream audience, it's just never going to be a hit. It's extremely rare and it's extremely risky. And the gamers are proving every year that they don't really care about innovation. They just want the same things every year, as long as they look shiny enough. And I think the vocal minority thinks that they're larger than they are when it comes to these kinds of topics, because they forget that games like Diablo Immortal, which everyone says is a pay-to-win nightmare, yet they're making so much money. They're making so much money and they have so many players. They made so much money off Diablo Immortal, despite everyone online saying it's a trash game and pay to win and no one should play it and Blizzard sucks for making it. Well, then how come everyone's playing it? So people clearly don't really care enough to not pay and to not play these games. And I think that is kind of the takeaway from this whole, this whole innovation situation, where you have games like Assassin's Creed that came out just recently, and the early figures, I could be wrong, but they look like they might be okay in terms of sales. They might be. I could be wrong. I won't emphasize that. But 1 million players in the first 24 hours does seem like a good milestone. And this game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, was just all over social media about it being a shit game, about it doing this, it doing that. it was an overwhelmingly negative stigma, so much so that people kind of want it to be bad because they want to feel good about Ubisoft losing. They want, most people want it to be bad, even though it wouldn't be good if it's a bad, because nobody, I think deep down people just want good games, but they want to feel like Ubisoft has got this coming. They feel like Ubisoft has got this coming, you know, and so they want to see that, they want to see them fail, like this, that's what you get kind of situation. But the reality is, it's probably going to have a lot of sales because every Assassin's Creed game does, because the average person, they simply look at the new trailer and they go, oh, that looks fun, I'm going to play it. And I think that is an important thing to remember when it comes to talking in these communities, and you're talking about innovation and you realize, why are people buying this game? Is because the average person doesn't care enough. Anyways, guys, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. So if you enjoyed this video, please do remember to like, subscribe, comment, turn the bell for notifications so you can see when my next video is. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.